We are up here in the light booth here at North High School, and I'm going to take you through some things that I want you to look at for a test later. You will have a multiple choice test on these issues later on. So you can be studying this as we go. This right here, when we walk up into the light booth, is called the dimmer unit. The dimmer. What the dimmer does is it controls all of the power to the stage lights as well as to all the lights in the auditorium. There's no reason you should ever have to get in here. As you can see, there's a tremendous amount of power going into it. But this is the dimmer rack, is what it technically is called, and it holds the power for all of the lights in the auditorium. If we go over here, you will notice that we have our light board. This is the light board here at North High School, and it does a multitude of things. Let me walk you through them. The first thing I want to talk about are some terminologies of the light board. First of all, the house lights. The house lights control the lights out in the audience. So when I say turn on the house lights, I mean turn on the audience lights. You will also see that there are little things here, as you notice, that go up and down. These are called sliders, slider controls. They're pretty standard with any light board that you have. They go up and down just by sliding them, hence the name. When you want to turn on the house lights from up here, you will look at this button here, and where it says take control, you need to make sure it is lit up. You push it in and it is lit up. The next thing you will do is you will tell the board you'll tell the board that you want the master control up. So you'll slide up the master. But if you'll notice, that still doesn't give it power until you tell the auditorium what parts you want lit up. And these control different parts of the auditorium lights. Number 1 is near the front of the stage. Number 2 is the middle of the house. Number 3 is the back middle underneath the balcony overhang. And number 4 is the balcony. So those places are those are the sliders that control the house lights. You would slide them up. Now, if you look at the rest of the board, this has absolutely nothing to do with the house lights at all. This is all the stage light portion of the board. So if you want to come over and get the stage lights up, you need to understand that we only have a limited amount of circuits. You will see as you look down the board that we have a grand total of 36 sliders. We cannot use all those because we don't have enough instruments for all of that. This board is a very old board. It is run off of an analog signal, not a digital, which is what new light boards are made of, which is a digital signal. It is analog. The first thing you need to do when you want to turn on the stage lights is you need to come over here to where it says power and where it says blackout. You need to make sure the power button is slid over so the red light lights up. You need to make sure the blackout button is slid over so that the power light is on as well. That's number 1. The next thing you do is you will want to tell the board to give it power, and you'll slide up the Grand Master. That gives it all the power that you need. Then you'll need to make sure that the sliders that you want slid up are up. So 1, 2, 3. Those 3 are the stage lights on the stage, the colored ones. Yellow, red, blue. Then I'll turn on 4, 5, and 6, which also work. Turn on 7, 8, and 9. Go through 10, 11. Skip 12, it's a dead circuit. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. There are some other ones we use higher up the board, but for the most part, those are your lights. Numbers 1 through 21, 12 is no good. And if I look out onto the stage now, I'll see that the stage is lit. And if you watch me take the Grand Master down, you will notice it gets much darker. So those are the controls for the stage lights right there that you need to worry about. Numbers 1, 2, and 3 are the red, yellow, and blues. 4, 5, and 6 are the lighting instruments located directly outside the light booth here. You'll see them hanging right there. Those are the 4, 5, and 6. Then if you go across from the light booth, you will see the other ones lit up. That is 7, 8, and 9. Then if you go out here and you look on the balcony rail, you will see that the other ones would be lit up to 10 through 21. Those are the numbers you're dealing with. Those are the basics of the board. The only other thing I want to show you on the board that you need to learn is what is called crossfading. If I want you to crossfade, I'm asking you to go from this axis up to this one. The reason we use that is so that we can program the board. We can put lights in here, and then we can put our next scene up here ready to go. So then all I have to do is go down to this little dial here, and I will change axis. So what will happen is this. Right now it's on the x-axis, or the x-axis is at 10. Then if I go out here, and I'll show you, when I slide this up, you'll notice that you see these lights on. But when I slide up the y-axis, it makes a shift. There are different lights up and down. That is called cross-fading. That is when I want to go from a scene to another scene quickly so that I can avoid having to go up and down all over the different axes with my hands and not be able to control all of it. Those are the basics of the board. So in review, you have the dimmer, you have the house lights, which are the auditorium lights for the audience, you have the stage lights, sliders, and all the other controls that we just discussed. When I want to turn off the board, I would go over here to the Grand Master and turn it down. I would take out the blackout button and turn off the power button. House lights can stay on. There's one new switch over here on the house lights, and that is for our new house lights, and I'm not going to confuse you with that. So suffice to say, these control the audience lights. I want to walk you through different parts of a lighting instrument right now, very quickly. As you will see down here, you have a bunch of different instruments, but they're all missing a piece. They're missing a very critical piece called the lamp housing. So we're going to go over to one that I believe has all the elements that it needs. We're going to look out the window here. We're going to look right down at this instrument right here in front of me. And this is hanging on the wall already, and this is a full instrument. This is called a 6x9, and you'll notice it has some parts to it. It has, what is missing on the back of all those other ones is this piece here. It's called the lamp housing. That is where the actual lamp, or light bulb, but we call it a lamp, goes in for the stage lamp. And those are anywhere from 150 watts on up to about 1,000 watts. They're very, 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 very bright. And that goes on the back of the instrument. Always want to make sure that there's a safety cable, a safety tether, put on the lighting instrument so that it does not fall on somebody's head. If it is loose, that'd be a bad thing. So, that is a lighting instrument, but I want to talk to you about a couple other pieces of what you can do with those instruments and have it actually in my hands so I can show you. So, other than the lamp housing, this one is a full lighting instrument too. You'll notice the back is missing off it. That's where the lamp would go, would be right in here. Other things that are on this lamp are called, or ways to focus it, or ways to make it go the way you want. These are called shutters. These little dials right here. You can pull them, push them in, as I drop it almost off the edge of the table. You can pull them out. It's hard to do with one hand, I apologize. Pull them out, you can push them in, you can move them from side to side. What they do is they channel the light. This one would bring in the left side, this one over here would bring in the right side, this would bring in the bottom, and the bottom one would bring in the top. They are all opposite of what you would think they would be, but they all bring in the light to a smaller area, so you can shutter that light. This on the front right here is called a gel that colors the different light. You notice we have it rigged up very, very poorly. Because these lights are so old, we've lost a lot of the gel holders that are supposed to go in here and slide right in there and make it nice and tight. We need to purchase some more of those. But the gel changes the colors of the set and the stage and sets the mood. The other thing you need to think about too is, as I flip this over, is called the yoke. This is the yoke. This keeps this on with a C-clamp to wherever I'm attaching it to at the time. The final thing I want you to look at is this little knob right here. This helps focus the light. What I can do with that is I can slide this piece back and forth. If I loosen this, or if I can push with two hands, you'll notice, as I struggle with it, that it now goes into the lamp. That whole piece that was out has just gone in, and I can pull it out as well if I want to focus it. Again, I apologize for struggling with this. So one more time without me dropping things. This is the yoke. These are the shutters. This is where the lamp housing goes at the back of the unit where the light is. And then this up here can focus, can slide in and out the cannon to give it a sharper image or a more kind of fuzzy blur image. That is a 6x9 light. The other types of lights are called Lekos, L-E-K-O-S. Some other lights are called scoops, and some are called par cans. This is a par can right here. This is a scoop right here. Par can gives off a big general wash of light, so does a scoop. The 6x9s, like I showed you, that are on the floor over there, and the Lekos give off a very sharp, defined image, almost like a spotlight. That is what those are used for. So, I've told you a little bit about what each instrument is used for. I've showed you how to use the board. I expect you to look at this video, watch this video, and be able to answer multiple choice questions for a quiz after watching it. So that is the light booth.